Top 10 Richest Criminals in the World. Despite the efforts of countries to eradicate crime, it keeps on thriving one way or the other. Many people enter into this world as it offers a lot of money. Others long for power, while some are forced by their circumstances. Many of these criminals mostly end up in prisons or executed by security forces, but some succeed in building huge fortunes. In today's video, we have brought a list of the 10 richest criminals in the world who have earned billions from illegal activities. But before we start, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Number 10. Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas was a drug dealer from the United States. He was operational in smuggling drugs from the 1960s to the 1970s and used to buy drugs from the area of the Golden Triangle in South Asia and sell them on the streets in the US. He was popular for making the deals by himself and buying drugs directly from his source without the help of any middlemen. In the feature film American Gangster, which was based on his life, it was portrayed that he used coffins of deceased American soldiers to smuggle drugs. But later, Atkinson, his associate in South Asia, denied this claim and said they used furniture for drug trafficking. Frank was convicted of drug smuggling in 1976 and sent to prison to serve his 76-year sentence. Later, he agreed to become an informant. He, along with his family, was placed in witness protection program. His sentence was reduced in 1981, and he was eventually released from prison in 1991. Frank Lucas died in New Jersey on May 30th, 1929, and his net worth was claimed to be around $52 million. Number 9. Al Capone. Al Capone, whose full name was Alphonse Gabriel Capone, was also known as Scarface. Apparently, Al Capone was a businessman, but actually, he was a gangster who rose to fame as a co-founder and head of a Chicago-based gang. Al Capone was born in 1899 in the United States to a family of Italian immigrants. He used to make huge donations and was known as a modern-day Robin Hood. But this image was changed when more of his criminal activities came into the limelight. His 7-year-long criminal activities as a drug smuggler came to an end when he was sentenced to prison at the age of 33. Al Capone died at the age of 47 years due to a stroke and cardiac arrest. At the time of his death, on January 25, 1947, his net worth was estimated around $100 million. Number 8. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Considered as one of the most powerful drug smugglers in the world, Joaquin Guzman was commonly known as El Chapo, the former leader of the international crime syndicate Sinaloa cartel. El Chapo is a Mexican drug dealer who was born in a poor farming family and was often abused by his father during his childhood. His father also became the source of El Chapo's entry into the world of crime, as he used to grow marijuana for local drug dealers and later involved his son as well. El Chapo pioneered the use of distribution cells and long-range tunnels near borders to smuggle several kinds of drugs to the United States and Europe. Due to his innovative idea, he became the smuggler who exported more drugs than any other smuggler in the history of the U.S. In 1988, Guzman set up his own cartel, which produced different drugs like cocaine, marijuana, and heroin, and earned an estimated worth of $1 billion. Number 7. Carlos Leder. Carlos Leder was a former German Colombian drug mogul who also co-founded the Medallion Cartel. He was born in Armenia in 1949. He served a sentence of 33 years and was released from prison in 2020. He owned a cocaine transport empire on Norman's Cay Island. Carlos was one of the founding members of the group MAS, aka Muerte y Secuestradores, whose aim was to retaliate against the abduction of cartel members. His net worth was estimated to be around $2.7 billion. He also once offered to pay Colombia's external debt with his huge fortune, but his offer was turned down. Number 6. Griselda Blanco. Griselda Blanco, commonly known as the Black Widow, was a prominent woman in the drug trafficking business. She was a Colombian drug dealer who used to work for the Medallion Cartel and was considered as one of the leading names in cocaine trafficking and other crimes in Miami in the early 2000s. Blanco was not just involved in smuggling, she was also responsible for almost 200 murders in the process. Blanco was the richest and most dangerous woman in the world of crimes. She was also involved and quite active in drug-related violence in Miami, also known as the Miami Drug Wars or the Cocaine Wars of the 1970s and 80s. Blanco was the first female billionaire to run her multi-billion-dollar cocaine trading company and built a wealth of around $2 billion before being killed by the security forces on September 3, 2012. Number 5. Daywood Ibrahim. Daywood Ibrahim is an Indian underworld king and drug mogul who has still managed to hide from the security forces. Born on December 26, 1955, in India, he leads most of the operations for the Indian Organized Crime Syndicate. Daywood Ibrahim is on the wanted list in India and the United States for several allegations like terrorism, murders, extortion, drug smuggling, and multiple other crimes. He was considered to be involved in the Bombay bombings in 1993 and even received a penalty of $25 million. He was also ranked as third in the 2011 list of 10 most wanted refugees in the world, which was released by the FBI and Forbes. He is claimed to control 75% of the worldwide heroin trade, but that's not his only business. He is also involved in many ventures like diamond trade, gold, and real estate. Due to his wealth of around $6.7 billion, Daywood Ibrahim is considered one of the wealthiest criminals in the world. Number 4. Leona Helmsley. Another woman from the world of crimes is Leona Helmsley, who is considered a convicted criminal, but she is a successful American businesswoman as well. Her arrogant behavior and inclination toward tyranny and oppression gave her the title of Queen of Mean. Leona was found guilty of federal tax evasion and other charges in 1989. These charges included 3 tax avoidance charges, 3 cases of fraudulent personal tax returns, cases of assisted filing of false corporate tax returns, and a few cases of postal theft. She ran multiple businesses that also helped her to raise a fortune. She had an estimated worth of $8 billion. She once said, "We don't pay taxes, only ordinary people pay taxes," a comment that was criticized heavily among the public. Leona Helmsley spent most of her last years in isolation and died of congestive heart failure on August 20, 2007, in Connecticut. Number 3. Semion Mogilevich. Semion Mogilevich is a Ukrainian-born Russian organized crime chief. He began a well-organized crime company known as the Boss of Bosses, following the style of a typical American mafia family. Semion is considered by the FBI as the most dangerous gangster in the world. He is involved in multiple crimes, including contract killing, gun smuggling, kidnapping, drug trafficking, and prostitution. He presently lives in Moscow and has 3 children. Due to his net worth of around $10 billion, he is considered one of the richest criminals in the current time. Number 2. Amto Carrillo. Amto Carrillo was a popular Mexican drug mogul who took over the control of the Juarez cartel after killing his boss, Rafael Aguilar Guajardo. He is also known as the El Señor de los Cielos, the Lord of the Skies. The name was given to him because he used to smuggle drugs by using a large fleet of jets, which was funded by the money he laundered from Colombia. Due to his wealth of $2.5 billion, he is considered the second wealthiest criminal of all time. He was involved in several illegal activities. The interesting thing about Amto is that he underwent plastic surgery to change his appearance so no one would recognize him, but his own security guards killed him after he changed his face. Number 1. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar is considered the most famous drug lord of the present century. Also known as the King of Cocaine, Pablo is considered unrivaled in his work. His criminal activities enabled him to build a fortune, and now he is considered one of the richest people on the planet. During the 1980s and 1990s, his drug trade ruled the United States because his team would bring 70 to 80 tons of cocaine almost every month. The number was considered to cover around 80% of the cocaine trafficking in the country. His drug deals were spread to other countries in the region as well. As a result of his countless deals, he was claimed to be making $420 million per week. This huge fortune gave him an undue advantage where he could bribe anyone or even murder if someone refused to take it. With a net worth of $300 billion, Pablo was ranked at one time the 7th richest person in the world by Forbes magazine. He escaped from Colombian prison in 1993, but was later executed by Colombian forces. So this was our list of the top 10 richest criminals in the world. You might have noticed that although these people build a huge wealth, most of them end up in prisons or executed for their criminal activities.